And with that, some of you have been wondering where she is. I'm going to bring on our second guest, the one and only Ashlyn Harris. You guys are excited. Hi.
Hey, Bob, what's up?
People really love you.
Oh, well, I really love them. Mutual.
People were like, who are these two dudes? Why are they talking to each other? Where is our friend?
Anise is the man, you guys. Like, Jamie, I love that guy. Every time I come to Heavy and Light, like, he moves me in a way that it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him.
Well, and you and Allie were backstage this time, right? When he did his poem back there?
Yeah.
I remember that. We always do that. That's a tradition I love, that we have him, we get everyone in a circle and we have him do a poem. And then you led the hands in at the end.
It was awesome.
That was cool.
Such a good community. Like, the group of people are just so incredible. But his words literally move me, his presence, everything. I've always been such a big fan of his.
Yeah. I love that. Well, that's kind of what he was talking about, like all these different worlds colliding, you know? So for him as a poet to be rubbing shoulders with musicians and counselors and soccer players, that's something, I think we love that as an organization, and you represent a big part of that, just putting people who might seemingly be different together, but we have so much in common.
Yeah.
How are you? Where are you?
I'm at home in Orlando with my wife and my two puppies. And yeah, just trying to stay patient, give myself like good space to rest and be still, because it's, honestly, Jamie, it's been a long time since, a lot of us had a break, probably 5 years. I haven't been home this long in years. It feels nice to be still and to rest and, try not to feel like everything is crumbling around me, but just like find little positives here and there, because it is a difficult time and it is a fearful time and an anxious time. And I have those feelings, and, the last few nights I lay in bed, I can't sleep, my mind's racing. So, I'm just trying to really focus on my mental health and, what that looks like right now for me and things I'm doing, and having Allie support me. So it's a tough time for a lot of people, like trying to lean in and lean on people and make sure that, you have a good sense of community and, people you can bounce things off to. And, sometimes I personally get caught in isolating myself. So I'm trying to do a really good job of not doing that, because it's a black hole for me. So I'm just like, trying to manage. A lot of things have changed now with the Olympics being pushed back, professional sports. What does that look like now moving forward with a lot of people in a small confined space?
Sure.
There's a lot of unknown. I think that becomes super fearful.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to take it, day by day, and continue to stay ready and do our part with social distancing, but also just trying to be still and being okay with that in the moment.
Yeah. What have the last couple weeks looked like? I know you're recovering from an injury. I know you're thinking about your mental health. I know you've been training. I love the silver lining that you shared, where you are getting a break, even though you didn't ask for it or anticipate it. As your friend, as someone who cares about you, I know I've wanted that for you in general. So that, to me, that is one silver lining. But I wonder just kind of what your days have looked like.
For me and Ollie, honestly, we wake up and we have our coffee and we get to the news and play with our puppies, and we do our workouts. Right now with Orlando Pride, we're still in virtual meetings, kind of almost every other day, and virtual workouts. So we have a lot of tasks that we have to do. It's a time to, you know, maybe you can't do the physical part, but like, what are you doing to work on your game tactically and making sure you're watching film? And so that's a majority of the middle of our day is going over film and footage. And just like we love to cook at night, that's kind of what brings us together. And, you know, we try to talk about, you know, throughout the day we'll FaceTime with friends, and, you know, we kind of circle back together and we reflect on the day. And, you know, we're trying to just go for walks. That's definitely been something we've both been doing, in bike rides. So we're staying, you know, grounded. And, you know, it is funny because when you get caught up in life and what we do, we're constantly moving and constantly giving. And you wish for this moment to just be at home and enjoy being normal, whatever that looks like.
Sure. Yeah.
And now that we have that, it's like, I want to go back to just living in hotels out of my suitcase. So,
Yeah.
you know, be careful what you wish for, kind of stuff. So, you know, we're just reflecting on everything, and it gives us the time to really talk about the future and, you know, what that looks like for us, because we did just get married, and we're back in training Monday after the wedding. We didn't take a honeymoon. So, you know, this is a good time for us to just reconnect and figure out what the future holds for us and how we want to keep growing, you know, in our partnership. And, you know, it's a good time to reflect and be grateful. And, you know, we sit back and have really great conversations about, you know, excessive things we have that we don't need.
Mm.
How we want to give back now. How are we going to make this, you know, a better place, and what are we going to do to rebuild this community? So this is good for us. It's open dialogue. It's challenging us. It's having us step out of our comfort zone. So, yeah, our wheels are turning. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I wonder, as much as you feel like sharing, kind of, you talked about the tendency to isolate and being intentional as it relates to prioritizing your mental health. And I wonder just what some of that, what tools or resources or solutions have you been leaning into that just kind of feel healthy, especially specific to your mental health?
Well, I think if anyone knows me on a personal level, I'm such a giver. Like, I give, 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 give. That is just what I do. Whether I'm in with the national team, in with my club team, I come from a place of compassion and understanding and making sure everyone's okay at the detriment of my health. Because weirdly, it's what makes me tick. It's what makes me feel whole, and it's what has moved me my whole life, to connect with people.
Yeah.
And I did feel like in the She Believes tournament, I was giving, 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 and I was only home 7 days in the last 3 months. So I wasn't getting that time to recharge and give back to my team and my partner, because I didn't have a second to just breathe. So isolation for me is something I actually have to do often, because I am such a giver and it is so important to me that I need that time to close everyone out, close the cell phone, and kind of isolate and sit in dark places where I can literally just almost plug myself into the wall and just feel the green light keep building.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. You know, a lot of times when I'm on fumes, I'm not at my best. And I feel like it's such a big part of my personality is making sure everyone's okay in our environment, that I have to find time to just isolate and recharge for my mental health, to be the best partner I can be, the best teammate, you know, the best daughter and sister and all these things, because it's so important to me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I do want to go back. You mentioned getting married. I was lucky enough to be there, and I tell people it still feels a bit surreal because it was so magical. I imagine a lot of people have been able to see photos, videos. It felt like a movie. And I wonder now that some weeks and months have gone by, just kind of how, I don't know, just how you remember that night and sort of that season, and sort of what has stayed with you.
Yeah, so 2019 was an unbelievable year, and it was just so nice to cap our wedding off on such an incredible, memorable year, exhausting year, but we really, really enjoyed it. It was literally like a fairy tale. We did not want it to end. We had such a good time. It was the first time that everyone could be in one place at one time, because athletes and family and everyone's always in different directions on different schedules. And it was very strategic of the date we planned it, so we knew people could be there, and it was so moving. I think back to what it took to have so many special people in that room and to vibe and connect in that way. I know you heard the speeches. The speeches were incredible. I mean, you could just feel so much love and pain and hurt and sacrifice and everything else in between. And it was just so much love in one place. It was one of the most incredible nights of my entire life. I don't know what will ever top that.
Yeah.
But it was so important to just hear people's story and hear how we've moved them in a small way, and how the wedding, paved the way for LGBTQ activists. And we paid so much respect to the people who came before us,
Yeah.
who made it possible, to be able to stand up there and be married in a safe space where everyone there really genuinely loved us.
Yeah.
And rooted for us and cared for us all these years. So it was a special night.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing was, Jamie, we wanted to share that love and that sense of community with everyone, even if it was hard personally, because we are private people. It was important for everyone to see like what is possible and what happy endings look like, and what community looks like. And that was really the moving part behind sharing that so publicly.
Yeah. Was there anything, like, obviously you guys dreamed it up, you planned it, you had help, but beyond all that or after the fact, was there anything that just totally surprised you, like that you didn't expect to feel, or that just was like, wow?
Yeah, I guess for me, I actually, when everyone left the wedding, which is cool, I haven't told anyone this, so this is gonna be really fun. So when everyone left the wedding, I walked the grounds by myself and videotaped my reflection of the night. Wow. And what that night meant to me. And I had a message to Allie, just telling her like how impactful she's been in my life all these years, and how she's pushed me to be a better person. And who I am today is a big part of her helping me become this activist, this standing up for what's right, all these different things. She's been a big part of it. And I wanted to give her a message that she could always have from that night. So I have that video, and I eventually clearly will share that with her. But also, if God forbid anything ever happened, to me early, she could always know how I felt about her on that night that was so special for both of us.
Yeah.
So it was pretty powerful just to kind of, we talk about being still and just reflecting in the moment. That wedding happened so quick and things were moving so quick. We had to go from boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It was a moment for me to pull myself out, take a look of take a look at what we as a couple have created, how, you know, how successful we have been to be able to have and pay for these type of things. Like, it was a moment I just could be like, you're doing the right things, like, keep going.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice moment just for me personally to have by myself. And I think it could be really cool to have that footage and do something with it eventually.
You may not have seen it, but she left a comment and said, "Let's do it again."
Oh, she's sneaking on here, isn't she?
I wanted to switch gears. You may have heard me mention it, or you probably already know, but we celebrated 14 years of this organization earlier this week. And a lot of people don't know, but I've known you since you were in high school. We went to the same high school. I'm a bit older than you. So I think people assume we met through the organization, and we met back when you were at Satellite and I was working for Hurley, and then you went away to college and we reconnected. But, and I've told you this, and I've told other people, but you've been such a huge source of support and friendship, and just you've played such an amazing role that we are forever grateful for. And people always wonder, how do we know all of these soccer players? And I remind people it can all be traced back to Ashlyn Harris. And it's the same question I asked Denise, but I just wonder, kind of as you look back on your relationship with the organization, just kind of what stands out. I know how it looks through my eyes, and just how much gratitude there is, and just how many people have been introduced, not only to us, but to hopefully this message of hope and help because of you. And so I was just curious kind of what you might reflect on.
Well, I love the question, and I really haven't taken time to think of it, so I'm just going to fly off my heart, which is always
you're good at that.
But honestly, when you're in sport and you're in a team atmosphere, like, whatever you're personally carrying, you can't bring into the environment. So if you're struggling, or if you're having a hard time in relationships, you know, if you suffer from depression or anxiety playing in front of 60,000 people, or whatever your triggers are, when you got in the white lines, like, you had to pretend like you were okay, because like, you have to be able to perform, and you have to be able to look like you're not an issue, or, you know, other people aren't worried about you, and your stress is now passed on to someone else in the collective. And it almost made me cold. And it almost made me feel like I couldn't be okay. And it was really hard for me. You know, there was a time where my parents were going through a divorce, and I was questioning my sexuality. All these things were swirling in my personal life, and I had to show up every single day and pretend like I was happy and I was helpful and I was there for the team. And, you know, it was this, you know, fake it till you make it type of thing. And it left me in a really dark place. And like, it was like I needed a community to lean on, to feel that I could be my true authentic self, and saying, hey, it's okay not to be okay, and I can still do my job and still struggle with addiction and depression. And I'm not perfect. And everyone seems to think that, you know, if I'm glammed up head to toe and I'm laughing, that everything's great. But like, I have real struggles behind closed doors that I have to work on every single day. Like, I have to be kind to myself every morning I wake up. I have to remind myself that I am enough, or that my body is this, or, you know, like, I have the same struggles everyone else has.
Yeah.
And I was tired of pretending like I couldn't talk about it, because I was in this spotlight. And because of that, I had to be this perfect light for everyone when I was crumbling in the darkness. So I finally found, you know, you, and you came into my life, and you were a big part of that puzzle that was like, hey, like, I'm here for you. I have a community for you. It really helped me find my voice to
Mm.
say, like, I'm not okay, and that's totally fine. And I'm working on it every single day, and I struggle just like you.
Yeah.
So I really, it partly saved my life. You know, soccer has given me a place, but you have given me a community. And I need both to function properly and be the best version of myself. So to write love has been a lifesaver. And to me, I know there are people out there who are struggling and having issues just like I do. And I don't want them to feel that way. I know what it's like to feel isolated and alone and having to walk out of my front door and put on a fake smile and this fake reality that doesn't exist in my heart. So I had to go out there and bring everyone in and be like, this is our community, and you're never going to be alone in this community. And your struggles are my struggles, and we're going to carry each other through this pain, and we're going to find the light on the, at the end of the tunnel. And I love the sense of community, and I don't feel alone, and I don't feel that I have to pretend to be something I'm not.
Mm.
So it's special. It's
That's
so special.
that's amazing. Have you
Yeah.
been to maybe two different versions of the same question? Have you been surprised at how receptive your fans have been? And also, have you been surprised by how receptive your teammates have been in terms of your support of the organization?
Yeah. I mean, my teammates are so incredible, and they have, supported the cause and supported me, and, helped themselves in the process,
Mm.
because we do live a really difficult lifestyle, and we need this sense of community to lean on. And I just love being so real with our fan base and being authentic and letting people know when I'm not doing okay, and just leaning in on other people. And a lot of them I don't even know, but it gives me so much strength. It's hard to do what I do every single day and constantly be on the road and constantly be living out of bags and suitcases and hotels. So I feel
Sorry.
that, no, you're good. I feel that I'm so lucky that the fan base has really been a part of it and so receptive of it and understanding. And I can meet someone for 30 seconds and they can tell me, they feel safe enough to tell me some of their deepest, darkest secrets. And I think that that's so beautiful that these people are being so vulnerable and they don't even know me, but I'm creating a safe space that they feel like they do. So
Yeah.
I fans have been so involved and a part of it and so vulnerable after games, having conversations, and I can see everyone's signs in the stadium. I mean, I'm so grateful for our fans. They literally continue to push me every day to do what I do, no matter how hard it gets.
I love that. And I feel like I've seen that. And I think that has so much to do with the unique connection you have with your fans and how people really feel like not only that they know you, but that you genuinely care about them. And I think that just comes through. I'm looking for a question, if that's okay. There's a bunch
Yeah.
of questions from folks. Um, this is kind of a softball, but I wonder, we haven't talked about the dogs. You and I have talked about being dog parents.
Yeah.
So I think I wonder what, just, you have two dogs, and obviously you live with Allie as well. So just what they mean to you, but also maybe what they've meant to you in this unique time.
Yeah, I don't usually get this much time away from sports with Allie. And, building up for the Olympics these last few months and being in like preseason trainings, like we've been away from our dog. So finally for all of us to be together it's been a nice change up. I'm like so happy being around my, you know, family and my dogs. And no matter what, if I leave for 30 seconds to go check the mail and I walk inside, it's like the puppies, it's like they haven't seen me in weeks and
Yeah.
they're so excited. It's honestly, it's been the best feeling. Allie and I can just play outside and go to the park with the dogs and play fetch, and we're taking family walks together, and it's just been a really nice change of pace, being around them this much, and being able to get that quality time, you know, away from sport and away from being on the fields every single day. And we are really having a good time, and it gives us a chance to reconnect, you know, because now that the Olympics have been pushed back a year, it's going to be another hectic year, and it's going to be a lot of travel, and it's going to be a lot of being away from home. So, you know, we're really trying to take this time to um, continue to grow, and, you know, not forget what's going on in the real world. And, you know, it's
Yeah.
just, it's been a good time, but it's been a heavy time. I can't pretend like it's not, you know, it's
Yeah.
just a hard time for everyone.
So Instagram's going to cut us off in a minute. Do you care if we end and jump right back on for a couple more minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. So you guys, we're going to end this one and we're going to come right back.
Cool.
Thanks, Ash. Okay. No audio.
Hi.
I don't think they can hear me. Can they? Okay. We're going to try it one more time. Sorry. Sometimes this happens.
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. Can you guys hear?
Are we all good?
Mom, can you hear both of us? Okay. I think.
We're
All right.
all
We're good. Sorry about that.
okay.
I thought of a question, and if do you mind taking a couple more? Is that okay?
Yeah,
All right. So if we lost the questions when we transferred over. So if you guys want to ask or re-ask a question, we'll get to a couple of those. I thought of one because I get this a lot, and the organization gets this a lot, and I feel like you'll relate. I think people sort of want to know, how can I be vulnerable? And with that, maybe, how can I begin to be vulnerable? And I think what you've shared even today is sort of what's been a process for you. And I love to share that I think it is, in a way, it's like working out. It's like practicing, where, like anything, if you practice, you get better. And I don't want to make that your answer, but I wonder what you would offer to someone who is kind of just wondering, how do I begin to talk about how I feel? How do I begin to share my struggles? You, Ashlyn, you're so great at it, but how could I do that? I'm afraid, or I'm anxious, or I've tried it and it didn't go well. I wonder what your advice might be.
You know, honestly, for me, and I can only speak for myself, but how this whole process starts for me is actually internally. Like, I have to be kind to myself first before I could ever be vulnerable and kind to other people. And that is like, that takes work, because it still is a struggle for me to even wake up and feel like I'm enough to the person I'm looking at in the mirror. So that, I think, coming to terms with that first was huge, because if I couldn't sit in the space of myself, how would I ever be able to do that in front of people? So I really focused on giving myself grace, and, you know, continuing to have inner dialogue with myself and be vulnerable with myself, and taking that time to see how it felt. And it's hard to sit there and wake up in the morning and look at yourself and strip away everything, because we do, you know, I have a lot of self-hatred, and it has created a lot of problems and addictions in my life. So if I can't come to terms with the person I look at in the mirror, I can't be vulnerable with other people. So
Mm.
that has been my guiding light. You know, every morning is a choice. Every morning I wake up, I have to be kind to myself. And that has carried me into every time. And my teammates and my coaches will all tell you, I'm the last one out of the tunnel. And honestly, I have to look at myself in the mirror because I've created this vulnerability with myself that I have to look at myself and be like, you're good enough. No matter what, this is just a game. No matter how this goes, you are still loved and no one is going to think differently of you. And I genuinely have to be kind to myself. And until I can look at myself and see that I mean it, I do not leave that locker room
Mm.
because it's a mental state for me and it's important and it's a part of my process. And I need those steps to go out there and give myself to my fans, my team, my coaches. But it starts with me first every day. It's, giving myself grace and kindness and understanding and letting myself know that I am okay and that I am enough. And that way I can go out there and I can be confident and I can speak the word that I truly believe. Because if I hate myself and I'm walking out here trying to tell everyone how to live their life and follow by my example, it's not real.
Yeah.
So it is something I have to practice every single day. And
Yeah.
there are times where I fall short and I have to go back into that mirror in my bedroom and shut the door and strip everything away and be kind to myself.
Hmm.
It's a process.
Yeah. That's so good. And honestly, I love that question, and I feel like it shows up a lot. And I was really curious for your take on it. I have one more, and then maybe we'll get to just a couple from these folks. You are so relational. We talked about that. That was evident at your wedding. Obviously, people go to weddings, but even teammates, former teammates, that clearly mean so much to you and to Allie. And I think I feel like we've even talked just about how that feels like a vital role for you to care about your teammates and to even help create and establish culture. And I wonder just how do you navigate that in the midst of competing for roster spots? Sorry, barking dogs. Roster spots, minutes, people coming in and out of camp. Are we going to see them again? Obviously your job is unique and your coworkers are unique, but I think we can all relate to having coworkers and having friends and just this idea that we are made for relationships. And I feel like you do such a good job of being real and caring for folks. And so I just wonder if you could share about that dynamic. I think I've shared this with you. Like, one of my favorite women's national team subplots is that you and Alyssa love each other. Like, you care about each other, and she was at the wedding and you root for each other. And to me, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I think that is something that has been built over time. I think we've been in goalkeeper unions where it hasn't been like that. So now we know the value of how we want to create a culture that is very, very competitive and hard, and we push each other. But the bottom line is it's based off love and support. We don't let bad moments seep in. We don't let selfish moments seep in. When we need to have conversations, we have them. And I'm never going to sit here and say, how does it feel to always be the two or to not start? Like, that sucks. But if she's successful, that means I'm successful and we're collectively successful. So there's no deceiving stuff going on. There's no conniving. There's no stabbing in the back. I'm not waiting for her to trip and fall on her face for me to get my next shot. My job is to show up every single day and be the best version of myself, be the best teammate, to push everyone around me. And that's what I do. And I hate takers. I hate people who come into environments and they make it about them. They just take till they drain everyone dry, and then they move on and they do the same thing somewhere else. And for us, there has to be a balance. There has to be this good culture we create where we can be unbelievable players, but we can also be unbelievable teammates. And we have learned that balance, and we do root for each other. You're absolutely right. But it has taken a long time to get there. And it is a culture that we created, that we hold on to, that we take care of, that we baby, and we don't let other things seep in to take that energy away. And I think that's with anyone's work life, you know, like it is what you make of it. Every single day, like whatever culture you want to like bring to the table, it has to come from love and respect. I mean, there's no doubt everyone's always competing. But, I mean, there has to be, you have to enjoy. I want to show up to work every single day like it's my last and enjoy it.
Yeah. I would think too, it makes a case for mental health and your life outside of soccer. Like you have to know who you are. You can't, everything can't revolve around, am I the starting keeper? Do I make the team? Like, so I think when you're secure in who you are and you know who you are, I would think that makes it, that probably gives you a lot of freedom as it relates to the
Yeah.
soccer, and you can just care for these folks. You're still competing with them and, like you said, playing super hard, but you can also care about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not treating people as a means to an end, like, or everyone's replaceable, which everyone at our level is. At any moment you can be gone. But there is a human component, and that is important to me. And I want to treat people like humans and not like a means to an end, that you're just serving this one purpose for this one cycle, for this one time to win this one championship. And then boom, you're gone. You hit your shelf life. You're too old. We're moving on to the next. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've given my life to this sport. I've given my life to this federation. And there has to be a human element. Otherwise, everyone's going to be takers, 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 and we're all going to be crap, and we're never going to win anything. I mean,
Yeah.
that team that won the World Cup, we loved each other. We genuinely cared about each other no matter who was on the field. And you don't win those massive world titles without having that sense of the human element and compassion and joy and love and completely just supporting each other.
Yeah.
You know, we're not trying to cut each other off at the knees just to get a starting spot. Like everyone has to play their role.
Yeah.
Everyone has a role. And it doesn't matter if you're the 1, 2, 3, or you're the 23 to 26. Everyone's valuable. Everyone plays a role to make us all successful.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. I saw a good question I'm going to go back to. So if you're comfortable with this, I think this is a great question. She's getting at how did you navigate this process of getting comfortable with your sexuality? I imagine at first for you, and then to make the choice to share that in a really public, vulnerable way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it started with just fear. I was so, you know, it's just like what we talked about is like being really, really healthy with your inner self and being very confident in who you were or who you are. I think for me, I was just so scared. And I was so scared of what people were going to think. I was so scared to get cut from the team. I was so scared to lose all my sponsorships. I was so scared what my grandparents would think or my parents would think. And it's like, eventually you get sick of living in fear. Like I was tired of this elephant in the room, and I was tired of only pretending. I mean, it gets exhausting. I was exhausted trying to cover up if I was dating this person or feeling like I had to be with a man because that's what society told me to do. But yet I was drowning inside because I was so unhappy. And, you know, I finally just was like, I gotta be free. Like,
Yeah.
I have to be free. And Jamie, if I felt this way and I mean, I didn't come out till a year ago. So can you imagine if I have the status or the support I do, can you imagine how a younger kid feels? And I had to sit with that, and I felt a lot of guilt. So, you know, here I am preaching this message of, yeah, you know, all these great things, but I can't even come to terms with my own sexuality. Like, that is not good enough for me. And I finally got sick of it. I had really deep, hard conversations with some of my closest friends, and I was resistant. I felt like I was giving in and putting myself in a box, and I was labeling, and, you know, I was kicking and screaming and fighting and all these things. And then I took a step back and I was like, there are kids, young children, literally killing themselves because they don't feel like they have a place. And you're playing into that because you're making, by you not being confident with who you are, you're making other people feel like it's wrong then.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. It's like, if I can't say it, that must mean it's wrong. So this is against everything I believed. And I had to stop it. And I, you know, these are the conversations Allie and I had. And I was tired of hearing about young kids suffering, and even older women and men still, you know, having this issue. And if I could share my story, or if I could be okay talking about my sexuality, maybe it saved someone else. If I can help someone else have the courage to do what I did earlier, like, maybe it saves someone's life. I don't know. I'm hopeful. But also it's like, for my own selfish reasons, like, I was tired of living a lie.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. What has it been like on the other side of that? Like, have you felt a freedom and a sense that,
Man, I feel so free. And honestly, I finally feel like I can give 100% of myself to everything. Before, it was like half in, you know, everything I did, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because I was living this lie, and it was a lot to keep up with this lie. And as soon as, you know, Allie and I announced it, it was just like this weight was lifted off my back, and like, I was seeing clearly for the first time in my life, and I could walk out my front door holding my partner's hand and not be worried about someone looking or watching, or, you know, walking in the mall with, you know, the person I love. It was so liberating. It was so free. And it was so accepted, and I was shocked it took me that long. Sponsorships, the president of US Soccer, my coaches, everyone was so sweet and loving and caring and supportive, and like, held me in this vulnerable state, because I was like literally about to be in pieces. I remember just sitting by the computer like, is my life, am I going to lose everything?
yeah,
And I did nothing but gain everything. I gained this sense of respect and love, and everyone just was so supportive. And now I've become an activist more so, and, you know, talking about LGBTQ rights and fighting for my community and paving the way and being a pioneer. It's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. And I get to hear people's stories, and you know how much I love stories, and I could sit here all day and talk and listen. And I just love hearing people in our community who now feel safe, who now feel like they have a place. That's the best feeling. It just makes it all worth it.
yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Well, I think we're going to leave it there. We're so grateful for your time and your, obviously, your support over the years, your vulnerability always, but again today. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. Thank you for the questions we didn't get to. I touched on this at the beginning, but just want to remind you, you can still get help in this time, even when so much is limited, whether it's a text to crisis text line, whether it's a counseling session over the phone or over Skype, whether it's thinking about self-care while you're isolated at home. please know that you can still be healthy and you can still be connected in this time. So we want to point you back to our website, TWLOHA.com, TWLOHA.com. There is a self-care section. There's a find help section. You can enter your zip code and find local mental health resources, including free and reduced rate services. I mentioned at the beginning of our time, you can specifically find solutions and resources related to COVID-19, whether that's financial, whether it's food, whatever it might be. So we're trying to continue to add resources and ways that folks can get help, folks can find comfort and relief in this time. We love Crisis Text Line. I talk about them all the time, but you can literally send a text anytime, day or night. The number is 741-741 here in the US. They exist in Canada and the UK as well. For other international resources, you can find some of those on our website. And on behalf of the organization, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep showing up every Tuesday and Thursday in this season, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then if you can't be here live, it'll be up for 24 hours after. So just like Ashlyn, we've had a lot of things canceled, but we want to continue to meet people where they are. And we want to continue to bring hope and help, and we want to have on amazing friends as guests. So Ash, I love you. Thank you for your
Buddy,
friendship.
thank
And
you for constantly serving other people, man. We need more Jamies out there in this world. So thank you for 14 amazing years of To Write Love on Our Arms. Where like we owe you big time, man. You give us a place, you give us hope. So thanks, buddy.
oh, you're the best. Well, it's so good seeing your face and talking to you. Tell Allie a lot of people loved her comment.
She
But
says
an annual epic royal wedding might be a lot. That's a serious endeavor.
maybe we'll put our wedding outfits on and go live here for you.
People would dig that. Well, hey, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.